these videos done and posted? Yes, I am. Okay, let's do it. Ew. Let's get into the video. We're gonna be doing Christmas miracles. I did record this video already, but my mic cut off halfway through. Major setback, but it's okay. It's okay. So we're gonna start over and re-record and upload it, and let's go. So Ed and Julia were headed toward their home in Mesa, traveling along Desert Highway in Arizona on Christmas Eve in 1931, when the car tire suddenly blew. On the side of the road, Ed set to work on the flat while his wife surveyed the desert scenery. Then she heard something, a faint wailing. Unsure what could be making the sort of sound in that desolate area, she investigated, spotting a hat box sitting alone in the distance. As another muffled cry sounded, inside, the two discovered a baby abandoned near the lonely stretch of road. How did the baby girl wrapped in a blue blanket and nestled in the hat box come to be there? It was a miracle that she was found before the worst happened to her. To the helpless infant, God protected and provided the young couple who took her to authorities, where she was later adopted into a loving home. Sheila Elliott was 55 when her mother finally told her she was adopted. Indeed, a shock at any age, learning that she had been found 150 feet off the road in a hat box by unlikely passers-by. Her life started with a miracle in the desert. It must have been a lot to digest. Though she never got to meet her birth parents. An investigative journalist, John Dana, worked tirelessly with Sheila to uncover the truth. She never knew definitively why her parents chose to abandon her, though there were some clues. So, next. A holiday season in the 90s brought unity to a suburban neighborhood in Pennsylvania in the face of anti-Semitism. The Markovitz family had fled the Soviet Union for a life of religious freedom in America. As Hanukkah began, the family placed an electric menorah in their window. The three men approached the house on the third evening of the Jewish Festival of Lights and smashed the window in the menorah. The family heard the horrible crash and was reminded of the persecution they had left behind in the USSR. As police investigated the hate crime, neighbors took notice. Two women who lived nearby sought to show support to the frightened family. Together they scoured stores all over town to purchase all of the menorahs they could find. It proved to be difficult as Hanukkah was already on its fourth day, and the menorah symbol being central to the celebration. After loading their cars with the traditional candelabras, the two went door to door speaking to every neighbor about what happened, inviting them to join in on their plan. It would be a miracle birth in the hearts of the neighbors to stand in solidarity with the family under attack for their faith. When Mrs. Markovitz came home from errands the following evening, she was greeted with the moving sight. As she drove towards her house, she saw every home in the neighborhood glowed with a lit menorah in the front window. What should have been a day of joy became a double tragedy. It was December 24th, 2009, when Tracy Ermenstorfer and her husband Mike checked into a Colorado Springs hospital to deliver their much anticipated baby boy. He would be a Christmas baby and a beautiful blessing, marking their family holidays with their wonder of new life. As she was getting set to give birth, Tracy said she felt tired and leaned back in the bed and closed her eyes. Inexplicably, her heart stopped and her life drifted away, with her husband Mike at her side. Following Tracy's cardiac arrest, medical staff acted quickly, hoping to save baby Colton, with the knowledge that his life hung on the moment it would take for delivery. With the knowledge that his life hung on the moments that it would take for delivery. Following a cesarean section, his son's little lifeless body was placed in Mike's arms. Devastating loss was turned to astonishment when the medical staff was able to revive the baby as Mike held him. Oh my God, I cannot talk. Moments later, they informed the new father that Tracy's heart had also begun beating again. A year later, the team continued to follow up with the miracle baby and his mom to try to determine what had caused the two to come back from the dead on Christmas Eve. Stephanie Marin, a maternal fetal medicine specialist, said that while there have been attempts to explain what happened, the specialists analyzing the case have come up empty. We have another explanation. Like Tracy and many who know the family, we definitely chalk this one up as divine intervention, a Christmas miracle. Okay. In 2014, Anquinine Scary was a hard-working mom of 5 children. Oh, I was making sure I was still on. Who worked morning prep at Moe's Southwest Grill in Rome, Georgia. Many were accustomed to her buoyant personality. Oh my God. Her buoyant presence as she greeted guests with a big smile. Her cheerful demeanor hid behind it the hardships of a single mom who, with her 5 children, had lived in a motel room for the past 7 months. Though working, she didn't make enough to pay the deposit to get an apartment of her own. That meant no kitchen to cook for her family as they all crammed into one room. A frequent diner at Moe's, local police officer, I don't know what CPL is, captain, I don't know, Key Wilson learned of her situation and decided to help. He first invited her to participate in the county sheriff's office Shop with the Cop program to receive clothes and toys for her children. Then he took it to the next level. Wilson set out to raise enough money to provide a down payment on an apartment to get the young family out of the motel and into a home by Christmas. He used his Facebook account and the generosity of others. Some he knew and others he didn't, to fundraise. A local realty company joined in, along with a fellow police officer who owned some rental property. It was a miracle of community, a police officer's Christmas's kindness, and God's heart of compassion. When Wilson presented her with the keys to her apartment, having prepaid the deposit and 3 months' rent, she sobbed as she realized that her life was changing that day. Then she thanked all who contributed in a heartfelt video, explaining that it was all her children wished for that Christmas, to be home. Oh. I got a few more. I don't like the way these on this website these articles are written, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? So, let's see. Alphonse and Edgar Marino were working as window washers at New York City's Soho Tower in 2007 when their scaffolding suddenly collapsed and the brothers plunged 47 floors down into an alley below. Edgar was killed instantly, rushed to the hospital. Doctors had to perform surgery on outsides, pretty much everything. Over the next 18 days, Outsides slipped into a coma and underwent 9 complex surgeries, during which he had gallons of blood and plasma pumped into him. It was only a matter of time before he, woke up perfectly coherent from a coma on Christmas Day. What? How? But no one knows, surely. No one knows really. No one is really sure how Outside survived the accident, including his doctors. Okay, still, crashing down 500 feet into concrete probably left Outsides crippled for life, right? Not only did Outsides learn to walk again, but just this past year, he completed a 3-mile walk for charity in just under an hour. Wow. In December 1950, after the start of the Korean War, thousands of North Koreans were gathering at the Hangnam docks, hoping for one of the Allied ships there to get them somewhere less massacre. Unfortunately, by the time they got there, there weren't many ships left, and it didn't seem realistically possible to rescue everyone. Thankfully, the SS Meredith Victory. The SS Meredith Victory, a small ship stationed in Hangnam, was captained by Leonard LaRue, a firm believer that no one shouldn't concern himself with silly things like reality, where human life is at stake. Despite the fact that Meredith Victory was designed to hold 60 people at most, LaRue ordered all the 14,000 North Korean refugees to get on his damn boat, which was sort of like stuffing 200 people into one coffin. All the refugees did manage to get on board, but they were packed so tightly in the cargo holds and on the ship's deck that they couldn't even sit down. There are also no sanitation facilities or heat available on the ship, and that's how the floating sardine can was forced to navigate the mine-infested Korean waters without proper bomb detecting equipment. The only weapon on the ship was Captain LaRue's service pistol. Mercifully, he didn't need it because after 2 grueling days at sea, the 14,000 refugees finally reached safe haven on Geoji Island on Christmas Day. The most remarkable thing about this story wasn't that none of the passengers died in the bowels of the cold dark ship, but that they actually ended up with more people than they started with. That's right, 5 women actually gave birth on the ship before reaching Geoji Island.